Imagine walking into a store where two brands are selling the exact same product. Same price, same features, same quality, but for some reason you feel drawn to one over the other. It's not because of the product itself, but because of how they make you feel. Why do we stand in line for hours for one brand while ignoring another that offers the same thing? Why do we follow certain leaders, not because we have to, but because we want to? The answer isn't in the what, it's in the why. Today, we're going to explore what it truly means to lead, not by pushing products, but by inspiring people. Think about the last time you made a decision, not just a small one like choosing what to eat for lunch, but a decision that mattered. Maybe it was choosing where to work, which company to support, or even which leader to follow. Now ask yourself, was that decision purely logical, based only on facts, numbers, and features? Or was there something deeper, something emotional, something that just felt right? We like to believe that we make rational choices. We compare specs, we analyze reviews, we look at the data, but in reality, most of our decisions are driven by something far more powerful: belief. We gravitate toward people, brands, and ideas that align with what we believe in. That's why when a company stands for something greater than just its product, it creates loyalty beyond reason. Consider two companies selling the exact same thing. One focuses on its features, on how fast, efficient, or advanced it is. The other tells a story. They talk about why they exist, what they believe, and the world they are trying to create. One company is speaking to the mind, the other is speaking to the heart. And people always follow the heart. This is why some companies can charge more, yet still have customers lined up around the block. It's why some leaders inspire fierce loyalty while others struggle to keep people engaged. It's why we don't just buy products, we buy meaning. Because at the end of the day, we aren't just looking for the best option, we're looking for something to belong to, something that reflects who we are. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers. You don't know anyone, you don't know the rules, and you're not sure where you fit in. You feel like an outsider, hesitant, cautious, waiting for a signal that it's okay to be yourself. Now imagine a different scenario. You walk into that same room, but this time someone greets you with a smile, welcomes you by name, and introduces you to others. Instantly, the tension fades. You feel seen, valued, and part of something bigger than yourself. This is what great leaders do, not just for individuals, but for entire organizations, teams, and communities. They create an environment where people feel safe, where they feel like they matter, and where they know they belong. Because when people feel like they belong, they bring their best selves. They contribute, they collaborate, they innovate, not because they have to, but because they want to. Belonging isn't about fitting in, it's about feeling at home. It's about knowing that you don't have to pretend, that your voice is heard, that your work has meaning. It's the difference between an employee who shows up just to collect a paycheck and one who pours their heart into what they do. It's the difference between a team that simply follows instructions and one that rallies together with a shared purpose. Leaders who create a sense of belonging don't demand loyalty. They earn it. They don't enforce culture. They nurture it. They set the tone not just with their words, but with their actions. They listen. They encourage. They lift others up. And in doing so, they turn a group of individuals into something far more powerful: a community. Think about the companies that have stood the test of time. Brands that have survived economic downturns, industry disruptions, and changing consumer trends. Now think about the ones that were once industry giants, but faded into obscurity. The difference isn't just innovation or quality, the difference is purpose. A company that builds itself around a product is only as strong as the relevance of that product. When markets shift, when competition rises, or when technology evolves, that product may no longer be needed. And if the company's entire identity was wrapped around what it sells, rather than why it exists, it struggles to adapt. It becomes just another name in a long list of businesses that once were. But purpose-driven organizations, they don't just survive change, they embrace it. Because they aren't defined by what they sell, they're defined by why they exist. They see their products and services as a means to fulfill their mission, not the mission itself. And that's what makes them adaptable. Look at companies that have evolved over decades, even centuries. Their original products may be long gone, but their purpose remains. They reinvent, they innovate, they find new ways to serve their mission. They build a deep emotional connection with their customers, employees, and communities, one that isn't dependent on a single product or service. This is why some brands can charge a premium, yet still retain devoted customers. It's why certain organizations foster employees who stay for decades, not just years. It's why, even when their product offerings change, their influence remains strong. Because people don't form lifelong loyalties to things, they commit to beliefs. When an organization is built on purpose, it becomes more than a business. It becomes a movement, an idea, a force that continues to shape the world, regardless of the products it creates. Picture a leader. What comes to mind? Is it someone standing at the top, giving orders, demanding results, and expecting others to fall in line? Or is it someone walking alongside their team, listening, supporting, and lifting others up? The difference between the two is the difference between authority and leadership. Because real leaders don't stand above their people, they stand with them. Too often, leadership is mistaken for power. Titles, ranks, and corner offices are seen as symbols of success. But leadership has nothing to do with hierarchy. It's not about controlling people. It's about caring for them. It's about recognizing that leadership is a responsibility, not a privilege. The best leaders understand that their job isn't to demand performance, but to create an environment where people can thrive. They remove obstacles, they provide resources, they ensure their teams feel valued and supported. They don't see employees as tools for success. They see them as people with ideas, dreams, and potential waiting to be unleashed. When leaders serve, trust is built. And when trust exists, people don't just comply, they commit. They don't just do the minimum required, they go above and beyond, not because they are told to, but because they want to. That's the difference between a workforce that simply executes tasks and one that takes ownership of a shared vision. Serving as a leader doesn't mean being weak or passive. It doesn't mean avoiding difficult decisions. It means understanding that leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It's about being the one who listens. It's about knowing that true influence isn't forced, it's earned through empathy, consistency, and unwavering support. Great leaders measure their success not by how many people follow their commands, but by how many people they've helped grow. They recognize that their role is not to be at the center of attention, but to create an environment where others can shine. Because in the end, leadership is not about demanding respect. It's about earning it through service. For decades, businesses have been conditioned to chase one thing above all else: profit. Revenue growth, market share, quarterly earnings. These numbers have become the universal scoreboard for success. But if profit were the only measure of success, then why do some of the most financially successful companies struggle with employee retention, customer loyalty, or public trust? Why do organizations that generate billions still fail in the long run? Because profit alone is not enough. Money is a result, not a purpose. It's a byproduct of value created, not the reason a company exists. The most enduring and influential leaders, companies, and movements understand this. They know that real success is not about how much they take, it's about how much they give. Think about the brands, organizations, and leaders that have built loyal followings. The ones that people don't just buy from, but believe in. Their success isn't defined by spreadsheets. It's defined by the difference they make in people's lives. It's the company that prioritizes sustainability, not because it's trendy, but because it's the right thing to do. It's the business that reinvests in its employees, fostering a culture where people feel valued, not just used. It's the leader who focuses on long-term impact rather than short-term gains, knowing that true influence is measured in the hearts and minds of the people they serve. Profit can be recorded, but impact is felt. It's the difference between a company that maximizes margins at the expense of its people and one that builds a thriving, purpose-driven culture. It's the difference between a leader who climbs to the top alone and one who brings others along with them. Impact is what turns a business into a movement, a product into a mission, and a leader into a legacy. It's why some companies will be remembered for generations, while others fade the moment their profit margins shrink. Because in the end, people may forget what you sold them, but they will never forget how you made them feel and the difference you made in their lives. Leadership is not about authority, products, or profit margins. It's about purpose. It's about creating something bigger than yourself, something that inspires, serves, and leaves a lasting impact. People don't follow because they are told to. They follow because they believe. They don't commit to companies, they commit to causes. They don't buy products, they buy into the why behind them. Great leaders understand that their role is not to demand results, but to create an environment where people thrive. They know that success is not measured in dollars, but in the difference they make. They recognize that loyalty is not bought, it's earned through trust, service, and a deep sense of belonging. Organizations that focus on products may find temporary success, but those built on purpose stand the test of time. Leaders who chase power may command obedience, but those who serve inspire true commitment. And businesses that prioritize impact over income don't just attract customers, they create movements that shape the world. So, as you walk away today, ask yourself, what is your why? What do you stand for? What will you leave behind, not just in numbers, but in lives changed? Because leadership isn't about what you do, it's about why you do it and the legacy you create in the process.